Now, how to develop a superior strategic sense in deconstructing an abuse of corporate power or a government corrupt agency. We don't learn that. Why? Because education does not have a free environment to explore its proper priorities. It's very much corporatized, very much commercialized. And I would urge you to start a civics practice course or a seminar. You'll find students will love it. Even if it doesn't come in time for you, because you may be juniors or seniors, it will come in time for those who come after you. You will learn the essential meaning of the ancient Athenian code of citizenship, which is, to paraphrase it from its ornate language, I pledge to leave Athens better off than I entered it. That's the sense of legacy that you need to build through your curriculum here. Whenever I meet people around the country, I am overwhelmed by how discouraged they are, demoralized. They don't think they matter. They don't think they count. They think they've lost control over everything, including their kids, to these massive commercial marketing toward 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds now. That never used to happen. Back 50 years or more ago, companies did not dare undermine parental authority, sidestep it, and direct market junk food, junk drink, violent programming, and everything else that's bad for the minds and bodies of these children. Now they do it as a matter of corporate strategy, as a matter of planning. We have to get over this idea that these corporations are nothing but ships bobbing in a free market sea with a free market wind. These corporations are strategic planning machines. We're not talking small business. We're talking about the global companies. They are planning our politics. They are planning our elections. They are planning our environment. They're planning the kind of food we're being told to buy. They are planning the commercialization of childhood. They are planning our foreign and military policy. Look at the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about in his farewell address 50 years ago. They're even planning our genetic future. They've rigged the patent system in a way where they now have thousands of patents already issued on our genetic sequences, on our gene sequences, not to mention the genes of flora and fauna around the world. They are commercializing the genetic inheritance of human beings. So don't let them get away with this free market ideology nonsense. Their whole mission is predictability and strategic planning of our lives. And if they can't do it directly, they will do it by taking control of government, national, state, local, NAFTA, World Trade Organization, systems of transnational governments. And if we allow those commercial instincts, those commercial values, to be supreme over civic values, that's the end of our democratic society. It is what Franklin Delano Roosevelt called fascism. In a message to Congress in 1938, to create an investigative body to explore concentrated corporate power. This is during the Depression. He got it, by the way. He said to the Congress, whenever government is controlled by private economic power, that's fascism. It's his very words. That's before fascism got the Hitler, Mussolini connotation. It's corporate power controlling government, turning it against its own people. And I want to leave the students in particular, but to me, everybody's got the opportunity to be so effective that they have a high estimate of their own significance. If you don't have a high estimate of your own significance, other than being a multimillionaire, if you don't have a high estimate of your own significance to advance justice in our society, the great work of human beings on earth, let's face it, without justice there's no freedom and liberty. Your expectation levels will become your own incarceration. They'll be so low. So I find three little quick stories. Isaac Newton was once asked, the great physicist, "Why are you so much more brilliant than your peers?" And Newton replied, "I'm not so much brilliant than my peers. I just have a capacity to hold a problem in my head and concentrate on it longer than most people." Concentrate. Concentration in an era of shortened attention spans. Text messages, Twitter. Remember the word concentration. Second little vignette, Einstein. Einstein said once, sort of understatement, quote, "I have no special gifts. I just have a passionate curiosity." Curiosity. Remember that. Third, William Blake. Haven't we all read, William Blake? Great artist, poet, writer, England. He was once asked, "Mr. Blake, where are you now residing?" And Mr. Blake looked at his questioner and responded, "Where am I residing? I am residing in my imagination." Imagination. Concentration, curiosity, imagination. Too much modern technology impairs all three of these great self-developed and refined characteristics. That's why I wrote my first work of fiction about how some real life, led by Warren Buffett, elderly, enlightened super billionaires decide that they are going to put a lot of money finding the local leadership in community after community, congressional district after congressional district, and with lightning strategies and mass media, which they created because they got the money, and the natural leadership giving them backing in every community in America. You've met them, and some of you are them. They turned the country around in long delayed needs in 1 year. Now you say, how could this be happening? I put 40 years experience in this book to show you how it can happen once the resources and the media are there with the imagination, concentration, and curiosity. I couldn't do this nonfiction. This is not a novel, it's a work of political fiction. I hope you'll read it, and I hope eventually there'll be seminars where this will be part of the reading. Because you'll learn a lot about power in the United States, how it's concentrated, how it's abused, how it can be deconstructed, and how it can be replaced. You're the last generation, I think, that has to give up so little in order to achieve so much. Because the price, the opportunity costs, as you know, are increasing. You're the first generation who polls that you don't think you're going to be as well off as your parents. We have global warming. We have nuclear proliferation. We have ridiculously low investment in dealing with infectious diseases like tuberculosis, malaria, global infectious diseases. Our priorities are all screwed up. Trillions go into military armaments when there's no more Soviet Union. Why? It's the military-industrial complex. It's big business. Where people are starved to get adequate quality control in their hospitals to reduce deaths that are about 100,000 a year just from hospital-induced infections. The Veterans Administration, hospitals have gone to work on this. They just put out a report. Within a short period of years, they've cut hospital-induced infections by 62%. They invested in it. So if you want to build a society that you'll be proud to hand to your children and grandchildren, and when they ask you the tough question of where were you when the world started coming apart, you won't have to tell them that you were too busy updating your profile on Facebook. Thank you.